Manchester United might be, how good Ten Hag's side can be. That for them must be a blueprint. That for them must be a bar set. Ten Hag with every reason for satisfaction. Manchester United can find this form repeatedly, then they will surely quickly become relevant at the very serious end of the Premier League. 2-0 winners tonight.
Good morning, everybody. I've just decided to have a little sip of water and that went down the wrong hole. Good morning, everybody. We've just beaten Burnley 2-0. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it's the first time that we've watched Manchester United in 4 weeks. And I'll tell you what, it was a pretty good return to action. I said that, well, we all knew that Erik Ten Hag wanted Manchester United to kickstart and get back into it with a strong rhythm immediately. And I thought it was going to be really tough. My prediction yesterday was a sort of a gritty 2-1 win over Burnley, but it ended up being really comfortable. First half, Burnley looked pretty decent. Good possession team. They had loads of the ball. Really didn't threaten that much. Benson down the right-hand side, he was probably their best player, but we're going to speak about all the individuals. We're going to talk about Marcus Rashford. We're going to talk about Marcus Rashford quite a bit, actually. Casemiro, I think it's almost unfair how good he is, really. Even at centre-back, he's that good. Unbelievable, Jeff. But look, who's down here in the comments this morning? Good morning to all of you. Al, good morning to see you there. Hayley, Dominic, Sue, as always. T, I can see you there. You called it yesterday, 2-0. Well, congrats to you, sir. We've got Mangy. We've got Momadou on Facebook. Good morning to both of you. Ronick watching from LA. Ian Holland. Who else got down here? Robert. Ant, good morning. Paula. As always, Josh, I'm sure you're there. I can't see your name, but I'm sure you're always there. But look, good morning to all of you. It doesn't seem like that many people are tuning in. I hope it's actually going out properly on YouTube and on Facebook. If it isn't, it's not my fault. Okay, I've set everything up correctly. But look, let's talk about it. It's been a long time since we've had a sort of, we had the Cadiz game. We had the, who was it, Real Betis game. It wasn't exactly good. Manchester United. And that's what concerned me a little bit. You looked at how Man United played in those two games out in Spain. We were nay good. But that there against Burnley was a really impressive performance overall. And I think that's the main thing I want to focus on to begin with here, right? Before I start talking about Marcus Rashford and we focus on individuals, I just think Manchester United were just a very good team yesterday. And look, I know that detractors and naysayers are going to come in here straight away and be like, "Oh, it's only Burnley, mate. Do it against City." Oh, just fuck off. Just can't be arsed with you. Burnley are top of the championship, an extremely, extremely difficult league. They've played 2 games in the last 2 weeks. They've won both of those games against QPR and Middlesbrough. They play a completely different style of football under Vincent Kompany. I think they're in the top 5 for possession inside the top 5 leagues in Europe so far this season. They really have been quite impressive. And I thought they were good in that first half against United, but effectively we broke them down. Wonderful goal. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, what are you doing? Where did that come from? Who are you? Spider-Man assist, that was properly Spider-Man assist. Great reach, great pass from Bruno, great finish from Eriksen. And then Rashford's goal in the second half, it was... That's the sort of Marcus Rashford that we want to be seeing. Absolutely. So let me just make sure this is not loud there. Everyone's tuning in. Yeah, cool. Right, as always, well, you know what today is. Today is the Christmas party. Christmas party is happening later on tonight, 8 p.m. Make sure you get it in your diaries. And the first thing I want to say before we do that is you can see down there, finally, I got the Christmas raffle open. Let me pull that up on here. So there is, if you follow that QR code, it will take you to this link. I'll leave the link down in the description as well. And description? In fact, not the description. I'll just post it as a comment. That's probably an easy thing to do. But that's the link to the raffle. The raffle is £5 per ticket. You can buy one. You can buy as many as you'd like. And the prize is £200 cash. And you know, this is our way of, as a community, giving something. So 100% of the ticket sales are going to be going to a children's book charity. So yeah, it's our way of somehow giving something back this Christmas. If you'd like to enter, you can enter. If you don't want to, it's completely your choice. But this is the main Christmas giveaway. 200 quid. That's coming out of my pocket. And that's all 100% of the entries to the raffle will be going to charity. None of that's going to United People's TV. That, as I said, it's our way as a community of giving something back. And you're saying, Trashford peeps, where you at? Hey, look. Marcus Rashford is the... I'm going to be doing a... I might do a little short video for TikTok on this today and on YouTube Shorts. Because Marcus Rashford is the shining example of what can happen if you support a player, of what can happen if you can have the patience to see it through to the end. Because Marcus Rashford's... Let's talk about Marcus Rashford now, eh? Let's go straight into it. Marcus Rashford's goal last night wasn't just... I mean, that was the cherry on the cake, wasn't it? But Marcus Rashford's overall performance was just full of energy, full of direct. And by the way, did that from the right-hand side. Obviously, when Anthony came on, he switched to the left. Then when Martial came off, he played through the middle. Mate, Rashford looked fantastic. Absolutely, Rashford looked properly unstoppable yesterday. That's the way I would describe that performance. Obviously, he got man of the match, which he absolutely deserved. And if you rewind, what? I don't know, 12, 14, 16 months ago, you would never in a million years have believed that that was possible from Marcus Rashford, because he was an absolute shadow of himself. He really, really was. And you're looking at a player now who has been given time, has been given trust, has been given the opportunity to sort of rediscover himself. And look at him now. He was one of England's best players at the World Cup. He's coming back, and I think that's his 9th goal in 20 appearances so far this season for United. I think that's nearly double. And is it nearly double? I think he got 5 goals last year. Either way, he's absolutely tearing up what he did last year, and he looks like a man reborn. And the reason I'm saying that about, isn't it amazing what happens if you can afford a player patience and they come through and they deliver? What we're seeing here with Marcus Rashford, we're hoping to see with Jadon Sancho. Now, Ten Hag was questioned about Sancho after the game. He's like, no, there's no update on him. Like, stop asking me. We're all hoping to see a similar sort of resurgence. Renaissance might be the wrong word. Resurgence from Jadon Sancho. But Marcus Rashford, man, absolutely unplayable last night. Let me see what else you're saying down there in the comments. Robbie, you're saying he's been reborn. Mate, he absolutely looks reborn. And there's Jacob. Oh, it's Burnley, mate. Yeah, championship topping Burnley. It's not Sean Dyche Burnley. They're a far better team. So last night, exactly, Jacob did. It was one of those situations where you beat Burnley. Oh, you've only beat Burnley. And then you lose to Burnley. Oh, my God, you're losing at home against Burnley. Like it's the be-all and end-all. But if you beat them, it doesn't mean anything. It's one of those like lose-lose situations in football. Carl is saying Rashford's confidence is so high at the moment. I think he could play anywhere across the front three. Well, if you're looking at how Rashford played for England, like some of his, I was like, that was what confused me the most about him at the World Cup. I was like, how is Rashford playing that good on the right hand side? Like he can't do that. He can't do that. But he can, and he did. And it's just it bodes well. It really, really bodes well. Erik Ten Hag, I think, has certainly helped in that sense. And speaking of Erik Ten Hag, let's run through a few of his comments after the game, because he wanted to focus not only on the individuals, but on the team as a collective as well. He said, look, we played against a good team. I think they were good on the ball, and it's difficult to get a press on them, but I think we did that. Had a lot of high regains. We had a lot of transitional moments, but I think we need to take a little bit from that. There is definitely room for improvement. We have to work on that. But of course, I'm pleased with the win. And I think that's pretty much an accurate way to describe that game. Nobody's going to come away from that game yesterday and say, there's your blueprint. Like the intro and the commentary from Peter Drury after our game against Spurs. That was the blueprint. But Burnley were a good team last night. And in that first half, when they started to have a bit of possession, United, I liked the shape of our front three. Without Ronaldo, oh man, I was just sitting there thinking last night. I was like, if you imagine where we were pre-World Cup and where we are post-World Cup, Pre-World Cup, we had, it was just, it was exhausting talking about Ronaldo. It was exhausting talking about how we fit Ronaldo in, when to put Ronaldo on. What's the problem with Ronaldo? Is Ronaldo going to start? What time's Ronaldo going to come off the bench? Blah, 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 blah. And it was constant. And without Ronaldo now, you can just see it straight away. Garnacho on the left, Martial through the middle, Rashford on the right. However you do it, you've got a front three there that it's just, it's interchangeable, it's movable. Rashford playing on the right, on the left, and through the middle. And it's going to be Sancho when he comes back. He'll be able to play off the left and the right. Anthony, he'll be playing off the right. Elanga, I don't really know what Elanga's doing, but he'll be there for a little while. It's just, it fills me with a lot of optimism. And for United to do that performance there yesterday was, in my opinion, quite impressive. I expected us, as I said, I did expect us to beat Burnley, but I thought it was going to be like a gritty win. I didn't think it was going to be that impressive. But I thought United as a team actually played very well. Some of the football we played was excellent. There was a ball from Bruno over to Rashford, who laid it down on the edge of the box with McTominay. He curled one over. There was a really nice move we made from the back. I think it was in the second half. On the right-hand side, the whole way down there, and it was pulled back to Martial, who then tried to lay some. There was just good passing movements. It's impressive to see, and I think after what we saw, I will always revert back to this because I imagine Erik Ten Hag does this as well. That drop off between Arsenal and City. And he'll never want to see that again. And that's why we had such a strong team yesterday. Because the team caught me by surprise. I'm sure it caught you by surprise as well. Casemiro starting, Eriksen starting, Bruno starting, Rashford starting. I was like, okay. I thought there was going to be some elements of the first team in there, but it was far more than I thought there were. And it paid off. It absolutely paid off. And of course, as much as we can, I'm going to say it, wax lyrical. Yeah, I'm talking about waxing lyrical. We can wax lyrical about Marcus Rashford. Honestly, this dude at centre-back, that was almost unfair yesterday. Almost unfair, that's what I would say. Oh, look at that. Mate, a couple of legends down there in the comment. I say a couple of legends. It's one legend, Rotham, who's gifted 5 memberships twice. What an absolute don. Mate, honestly, this week has absolutely blown my mind. I mean, you as a community always do blow my mind, but the generosity this week's been on a different level altogether. And Rotham, thank you very much there for gifting 10 memberships. Who were the lucky 10? We've got Angela Waits, you got one. Hussey, not Henrik, Ryan, Red UK. Who are the other 5 down there? I can't see. Where's the other 5? 5 there. And oh no, it's Anthony. Sorry, Anthony, you gifted 5 memberships as well. I didn't see that. Sorry, buddy. Dons, all of you. Toyosi, Chris, Gyro, El Runio, Mega K. I can't wait for the show tonight. The show will be really good fun tonight. But let me see what you're saying down here about Casemiro. Casemiro's, honestly, you look at Casemiro, right? You look at Casemiro, and I'm thinking, right. So you can play centre back like you're an elite level footballer. Okay. Like you can play central defensive midfield like you are an elite level footballer. Your passing range is, well, it's right up there. Capable of putting out ridiculous balls. You've got goals in your game as well. Dude is, I mean, has he got a weakness? Honestly, has he got a weakness to his game? He's shown there with that performance that even when his legs start to go, just drop a little bit deeper. Start playing as a centre-back. It's easy enough. I'll get a few more years out of that. Casemiro, wow. Remember how, geez, what was it? The conversations I was having in early October, late September. Casemiro's over the hill. Another one of those shit signings. Oh, here we go again. I'm like, hold it, man. How are you making such a ridiculous judgment on a player like Casemiro that early? Then, of course, pretty much since he came on, did he start against Everton? I think he started against Everton. That was when he put that through ball through to Ronaldo. Casemiro's pretty much been in this team, and he's not leaving this team. And you can argue between Casemiro and Martinez as to who might be the better captain going forward. And I think there's arguments for both of them. But Casemiro was absolutely fantastic. Dominic, you're saying, look, you needed time to settle in. I don't know whether it was settling in time, but I suppose you can probably label it as that. It was the expectations from people were there like immediately right now, because that's just how society is now. Immediate gratification. Can't be asked to wait a week or two. I want it right now. And if I don't get it right now, I'm going to go and get it from somewhere else because I need my gratification. Now. Casemiro doing a Lothar Matthäus. See, look at that. He's class. I forgot about watching us. He's a class. I forgot about watching. I don't really get that. Sorry, man. That comment makes no sense. Ray, I see you there, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen your name popping up in the comments. Stephen, we're definitely having a couple of beers tonight. It's a Christmas party. You have to have a couple of beers at Christmas party. Nobody embarrass themselves and throw themselves down the office table, though. Mate, and you're saying he's got all the cheat codes. He's like R2, L1, R2, left down, right up, left down, right up. That's all the weapons in GTA. I still remember that from PS2 days. Look at that. Never did it, though. Obviously, I played the game without cheats. I mean, who would do that? But let's go back to see more of what Erik ten Hag said about the game itself. And that first goal. Because that first goal, oof. How good was that first goal? The ball from Bruno. The athletic reach from Wan-Bissaka. Because you could probably say that the pass was slightly overhit. You might be able to say that. But it was fantastic. I thought it was R2, L1, R2. Ah, sorry, it doesn't really matter. Who cares? I haven't played GTA in a while, actually. But look, this is what Ten Hag said about the opening goal. He said, they're quite hungry. It was a good team goal, but it was a good way to see the way we finished the move with Bruno. And then on the far side, we went with Saka and Eriksen for the goal. He goes, yeah, it was a really great goal. Let me pull up that photo. Absolutely cracking photo of that Wan-Bissaka assist. Where is it? Yeah, man. What do you reckon about that? Have I gone too early in judging Wan-Bissaka? Have I judged Wan-Bissaka too much without actually watching him inside a Ten Hag system? I have to ask the question, because last night that really was. It wasn't just an impressive. I thought Wan-Bissaka played quite well. I thought Wan-Bissaka was decent last night. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka wasn't incredible going forward, but I'm not sure whether he is going to be incredible going forward. But I have to say that assist was like a 15. That was a 10 out of 10. Like that was the athleticism to reach it, the control to get it in the way he did. Because normally, if you just volley a ball like that, you'd spoon it about 400 yards past the box. But it really was impressive. I think so anyway. Bob, you're saying no in defense. He had multiple moments of slacking. You were right to criticize. What else are you saying down here? Looked comfortable in the system, says Tyler. Go gadget legs. I mean, it really was. I mean, he is Spider-Man, right? That's what he's known as. Ray, you sent a super chat. What are you saying, buddy? You're saying we scored some great goals last night, mate. We scored some fantastic goals. And it could have and should have been more than two, if we're being completely honest. Garnacho in the first half in particular, when Bruno put Garnacho through, I think it was in the 8th minute. And the ball kind of got stuck in between Garnacho's feet. There he is up there. There's the Wonder Kid himself. But I don't know. Had that game come sooner than rather than waiting a month since Fulham, he probably would have buried that. But I've got no doubt. That Garnacho is going to be finding the back of the net very, very soon. I remain the same. I'm stuck behind Wan-Bissaka and will continue to do so. He's a great right back option. I don't know. And you're saying no, I don't think so. Ten Hag have faith of him. He'd be playing. I mean, I think he's been injured a fair bit. But let's be completely honest. If Diogo Dalot was fit yesterday, who starts that game? Diogo Dalot would definitely start that game. Wan-Bissaka trying to put himself in the shop window. Oh, there you go, Jacob. Like, you're a really chipper guy this morning. I'm going to pull you out. Bro, you've lost 3 friendlies prior. You play a championship, and now you're saying all of this just for views and clickbait. Well, Jacob, it looks like you're a really You must be good at parties, mate. You must enjoy yourself, right? Yeah? Come on, mate. It's all right. What's wrong? Let us know. We'll try and help you. We'll try and make yourself feel better. We're not allowed to enjoy football, no? Right, okay. Right, Jacob, we'll let Jacob take over the stream, and we'll see how much fun conversation we can have then. Delo is keeping Ten Hag out of the squad. I don't think Delo is keeping our manager out of the squad. I know what you mean there, but look, I don't personally think that Wan-Bissaka's got a future at Manchester United. 50 million we paid for him. I just don't see it. The price tag's kind of irrelevant, actually. I don't know why I pulled that up. I just don't think stylistically he fits inside the Erik Ten Hag system. In the same way that Harry Maguire, I think, is a decent enough defender. But I don't think Harry Maguire fits it stylistically inside the Erik Ten Hag system. So I therefore don't think that Harry Maguire's got a long-term future at the club. And I therefore don't think that Aaron Wan-Bissaka has got a long-term future at the club. We'll find out. Look, everything that we've seen so far over the last, I don't know what, month or two, everything that Fabrizio Romano has been saying, everything that's been talked about in terms of Wan-Bissaka's future, the club are trying to find a club for Wan-Bissaka in January. We've seen Wolves, Crystal Palace. What was the other one? Don't know. West Ham, I think, will link with him as well. Trying to find a club for him, and then we'll try and bring in a new right back. I don't think that performance last night changes that, but I'm happy enough for Wan-Bissaka that he's managed it because it was a cracking assist. It really, really was. Going back through, and let's read through more of what Ten Hag had to say. He said this. He focused on Marcus Rashford here. He said, I think he was a threat for the defending line of Burnley. He moves so often behind the defending line, and they are the most difficult situations to get the ball there. But with the passing capabilities of players like Eriksen, Casemiro, and Bruno, we have the players that can get the ball there. You have to keep going and believing that the ball is going to get there. And this is a phrase that Erik Ten Hag uses a lot. And I imagine this is kind of part of his training. Investment. He always talks about the investment in runs. The fact that an individual player might make 10 runs a game and he's only going to receive the ball on one of those runs, but it's worth it. You have to invest in it because that one time you do get the ball, you're going to create a goal scoring opportunity. And Marcus Rashford was just, let me pull this up here. Marcus Rashford was just fantastic. He really, really was. We've already spoken about him before. I'll speak about him again. And hopefully we're talking about him a lot in the future as well. But he's right to praise him. And it's just nice to see Rashford play with a smile on his face, isn't it? It really, really is. Going down here in the comment, Dom, you absolute ledge, dropping in 5 gifted memberships. Legend indeed. Who's down there? Let's have a look. Cormac Jones, Walter Wells, Astro, Declan, and Xander. You are the lucky 5 there this morning. But man, I just enjoyed watching United yesterday again. It's been 4 weeks, eh? As much as World Cup football is enjoyable, watching United is what we all... watching United is what brought this community together, right? All of our love of watching United play. And we've got Nottingham Forest now. They beat... Who did they beat yesterday? I think it was Blackburn. Jesse Lingard scored. But look, these are the opponents that we could get in the quarterfinals. Let me pull this one up. These are our possible quarterfinal opponents. Of course, Liverpool play City tonight. Then we've got Charlton Athletic, Leicester, Newcastle, Forest, Southampton, and Wolves. And Erik Ten Hag will be looking at this competition now and thinking, you know what? This is a trophy. This is a trophy right here. It's been 5 years since we won anything, which is a drought for Manchester United. Now, the League Cup, as we know, just like when we won it under Mourinho, it didn't really change much in the same way that winning the Europa League didn't change much, or winning the FA Cup under Van Gaal didn't change much. But winning a trophy and getting that, getting the monkey off the back, getting that first one in for Ten Hag will be significant. And it'll be early in the season as well. I don't know when the League Cup final is this year because I'm guessing it might be slightly delayed because of the World Cup. Typically, the League Cup final is in February. Thereabouts. I don't know when it is. But though you're down here saying, look, only 2 teams left in the competition that you categorically want to avoid. Absolutely. But look at that, man. We can get Charlton at home. We could get Nottingham Forest. We can get Southampton. You're effectively gearing up towards a final against City or Liverpool. If United can play we've got 2. Can anyone let me know in the comments? Is the semi-final 2-legged again this year? Because it typically was with the League Cup. I just don't know whether they might have reduced it to 1 leg because of the World Cup. So either way, we're 2 or 3 games away from Ten Hag's first cup final, which is apparently on the 26th of February. That's what Stu's saying down there. And I think the fact that Ten Hag played such a strong team yesterday is really indicative of the fact that he wants this. He wants, first of all, none of these, for complacency not to be something that sort of poisons this team. Because that game there yesterday, Burnley, right? My God, I mean, how many times over the last few years have we gone into a game, you looked at it on paper, you say United are favourites, you look at how we're playing, you'd be like, okay, yeah, and then all of a sudden we're shit. And all of a sudden nothing makes sense. And the way we played the week before just goes completely out of the window. It's happened more times than I cared to admit. So anybody, Jacob and co, coming in, oh, it's only Burnley. It's like, oh, man, just get fucked. It's stepping stones. No one's saying that beating Burnley is the be-all and end-all. But after 4 weeks away, given what happened in the 4 weeks between Arsenal and City, it's good to see United do that because we didn't know what to expect from this post. This is an unprecedented situation, a mid-season World Cup where everyone's just been out playing international football and away from Ten Hag for so long. So it could have been, and I thought it was going to be. I really, really did. Really did think that United would struggle more. But I'll tell you what, after we got the first goal, Burnley had that like 10-15 minute period in the first half where that was when they were at their most dangerous. But I'm not sure they had a shot on target in the first. Did they have a shot on target in the first half? They may have, but it wasn't particularly that much. Ricky, you're saying semi-final is 2 legs, 23rd and the 30th of January. Well, there you go. That's what it is then. A win is a win, says Rob. I completely agree with you there, and so does Mo down there. A win is a win. Sean Walker saying, I hope we don't play Dubravka in any other game. I have to mention that, right? Let me pull up this photo. I've never seen self-sabotage like that in my life. Dubravka's been waiting like that long. He's like, yeah, finally, I'm getting a game for United. Well, you're probably not going to get another one after that. It was like he was trying to score an own goal on like 4 different occasions. I was like, what are you doing, mate? He missed the punch, and then the ball went over him. And then he tried to punch it through the air, and it required Wan-Bissaka and Casemiro both running back to the line. Then he miscontrolled it another time. And another time he miscontrolled it again. I was like, what are you doing, Martin? What are you doing? But yeah, obviously we didn't concede. He got very fortunate for us to not concede in that game. We really, really should have. But let's go back here to read through more of what Ten Hag had to say, because I think this is the most interesting thing to talk about this morning. He spoke about Casemiro on an individual basis, and he said this. It's what you can expect. He's really experienced, really composed, and he was leading and had a good combination with Victor Lindelof. So I was happy with his performance. And I think, who do you think is the most important player for Manchester United this season? Let's see if we can do a poll about this. Try and think about it as well before you actually put it in the comments. Let's do a poll. Who is United's most important player this season? Important player, not this season. Second half of this season. Let's put down some options. You can let me know if it's going to be a different one to the options I'm putting down. What the 4 options I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Casemiro, Martinez. I'm going to go for Rashford. I'm going to go for Martial. Got it. I think I thought that'd be an interesting one because you could put. I need more than 4 options there. Basically, I want to put Bruno in there. I want to put Eriksen in there. Reason I'm putting Martial is because I'm worried about what happens if or when Martial gets injured. Rashford, he's shown it there. Is he going to be the most important one? Let me see what you're saying in the comments. 100% Casemiro, says Dan. Corey, you're saying Casemiro. Josh, you're saying Casemiro or Bruno. Jermaine, you're saying Bruno. So are you, Jonathan. Eriksen, Varane. Good old Varane. Delo, that'll be an interesting one. Though you're saying Varane as well. Bruno, Fernandes. Quite a lot of you are saying Bruno. I would say it's probably between Casemiro or Bruno that you're saying in the comments. But Casemiro, man. I know I'm repeating what I've just said there, but yeah, you're witnessing like a proper, like a Hall of Famer. Is there a Hall of Fame for football? Don't know if there is. But if there was, he'd be in it. Absolute Rolls Royce of just a footballer in general. In general, sorry. Whether it's centre back, whether it's central midfield, whether it's defensive midfield, whether it's probably attacking midfield, and now that too. And I imagine if you put him in goal, he'd be a cracking goalkeeper as well. That's what I think so anyway. Yeah, Charlie, you're right, Dana. He is just a very good pro. He's a very proper pro. Joris, I don't think anybody's sleeping on Hernandez. Martinez. I can't wait to get him back. World Cup winning Lisandro Martinez. Imagine that. Let's see what else Ten Hag had to say about the game itself. He goes, look, Wan-Bissaka's ready. All players are important, but Wan-Bissaka did well. We missed him in the first 14 games. They have to play well and perform. He had good preparation for the second half of the season, so he's ready to play, and he did pretty well today. I don't imagine we're going to be seeing much of Wan-Bissaka, but it depends on how injured Diogo Dalot is and also whether we bring in another right back in January. He's talking about squad rotation here. This is an interesting one. I think after a break, it's always difficult to find the rhythm, but I think we did quite well. Some different players came on, and I think they played quite well. I had a routine, and it wasn't 100%, but you see that the principles are there, and I'm pretty happy with how the game played out. And I think that's the best way to describe it. Nobody is saying that that there is the perfect performance from Manchester United. But for a step one of, right, okay, this is the reintroduction back into domestic football, it was exactly what we needed it to be. Confident, good football, good build-up play, good teamwork, good individual performances. Rashford and Casemiro, the standouts. Wan-Bissaka, I think, impressed. Scott McTominay. What do you think about Scott McTominay in midfield? Don't really know about that one. Good moments, bad moments, I'd say, from Scott McTominay. A bit of a mixed bag. Sort of the best and the worst of Scott McTominay, I suppose. But a decent enough performance. I think so, anyway. Andreas, you're saying, any idea why Harry Maguire did not play? Where's that comment gone? There. It was labelled as illness. Now, I know that if you're hearing illness from anybody, from Ten Hag talking about anyone, you're like, is he really ill? Because I remember Ronaldo being ill when he was dropped, when he was in the team. I remember Sancho being ill, and I suppose that the Sancho being ill was technically true, given he's not ready mentally and physically ready to play for Manchester United. Remember that Ten Hag was questioned about him yesterday, and he said, no, look, there's no update on him. Don't ask me for one. I hope we see Sancho back before the end of January. I think that's probably a realistic expectation. And I don't really know what he's doing. Is Sancho still out working with the coaches in the Netherlands on like a private individual program? Is he just taking some time off at his house and chilling with his family? I don't know what he's doing. But he'll want to return, no doubt. Tim, I think I've spoken about this before, actually. I mean, you're not going to get anybody better to learn from than Casemiro, are you? Really is the king of his position. And the thing that if there's one thing that I want Scott McTominay to learn from this bloke, it's learn the Schneid part of the game correctly. Scott McTominay and his aggression it's just like stupid aggression. You know, he always gets those yellow cards. I'm like, Scott, how are you possibly getting a yellow card there? Casemiro knows when the referee is looking and when the referee isn't looking. And you might not like it, but it's part of modern football. You can take the moral high ground and say, let's not. Then you're just going to go and lose a game because someone else is doing it. It is what it is. It's part of the game. Even if you don't like it, you have to accept it. Let's see what else you're saying down here in the comments. Look, when it comes to Maguire, I don't really know what's going on with Maguire. Maguire, he's labelled as ill, and we're just going to have to presume that he's ill because he obviously played for England during the World Cup and he had no problems there. But we played with Lindelof and Casemiro last night, and I imagine if there's no change in Maguire's fitness in the next 5 days before we play Nottingham Forest in the Premier League, then we're going to be seeing Casemiro start at centre-back against Nottingham Forest in the league. John, I did see that, and that's just some mad English bias. They could have, I think Saiss from Morocco, Gvardiol obviously from Croatia, and there were probably some other candidates as well. Maguire wasn't in. He shouldn't have been in that team in the tournament. I don't think so anyway. And that's just not. Maybe it is. Maybe I just don't like Maguire. Well, I don't really like Maguire. That's kind of a given. Let's see what other talking points we've got here this morning. Bit of a quiet. What do you think about Eriksen's performance? Again, Eriksen's just a player I just enjoy watching. And it's nice because obviously, Denmark went out of the group stages. Condolences to them. But I was happy about that because he actually had a genuine rest. A genuine rest. Eriksen needed that. He was really looking fatigued. He was looking fatigued before the World Cup, and then the World Cup happened. So he's had an actual decent couple of weeks off. And I'm looking forward to seeing how influential Eriksen's going to be. Because, he was influential before the World Cup. I think that's only just going to increase. And, of course, he got a goal last night. And just a wonderful run into the middle. Excellent timing. And Eriksen's just an excellent player. We've just got good players, man. So, I mean, it bodes well. That game yesterday bodes well for what's coming next. And I think no one's looking at United this season with any sort of threat, any sort of, it's only year one. And it kind of means that we can just tread our own path. No pressure from anything, no pressure, no real expectations from anyone to do anything other than, I suppose, get inside that top four. If we can get a cup win, whether that's Europa, whether that's League Cup. I really, really feel that we're going to enjoy the second half of the season. That's what I think. So I think post Ronaldo, hopefully post Glazers, with a team like we've seen there. And of course, that team was missing Diogo Dalot. That team was missing Lisandro Martinez. That team was missing Rafael Varane. That team was missing Casemiro in the middle. That team was missing David De Gea. It's good, man. It's really, really good. Now, there's a conversation that I've just seen down there in the comments. Let me just pull this one up because I think this is a pretty damn harsh comment. Alex saying, I think that Garnacho was absolutely terrible, quote unquote. Let me pull a photo up here. You can let me know what you think about that. Alex, I think that's a pretty harsh comment about Garnacho. I wouldn't say that Garnacho was amazing yesterday because he wasn't. We've seen the best of Garnacho. I thought Garnacho's runs were smart. I thought his movement was pretty smart. I thought he linked up with his teammates well. But ultimately, his final balls or final decisions were lacking yesterday. That sharpness wasn't quite there in those important moments. I think that Garnacho, I think Garnacho would have left the pitch and go, okay, that was decent enough. I think Ten Hag would say, yeah, that was decent enough performance. But it was decent. Obviously, when we've seen what he can do and the finishes that he does have, I suppose you're going to expect more. But he's 18. He is 18 years old, and he's about what? 6 years? 6 years away from his peak as a footballer, roughly. You're going to be seeing some ups and downs. And there's no way that I would label that game as terrible. I think Garnacho was creating dangerous runs add into our attack. Just didn't have that final ball. Bino saying to stop jumping on players, but I wouldn't say it's a toxic mentality, but I do think it was overly harsh to try and say that he played terribly, because I just don't think that was correct. Nastro, you're down there gifting 5 memberships as well, man. Thank you very much, dude. Who are the lucky 5 from Nastro? Bino, Edward, Garda Viewer, James Maycox, and Serial. You are the lucky 5 there. Free Gold, you're saying I'd love seeing Ericsson slam one in. Yeah, man, me too. Garda Viewer, that's a controversial comment. I disagree with that one for sure. You're saying the Garnacho looked much better than Rashford on the whole. Yeah, I don't think that's the truth. I don't think that's the truth. I think Garnacho looked good. Yeah, he did look good, but Rashford was on a level above yesterday, on a level that we saw at the World Cup, and a level that he's clearly going to be able to bring back to Manchester United. That's a really, really good thing. Something I've got to quickly say here before we move on. First things first, as I said, this is the big giveaway this Christmas. This is the Christmas raffle. I'm giving away £200 cash to whoever the winning raffle ticket is. It's £5 per ticket to enter, and 100% of that money is going to be going to charity. It's our way of donating as a community this Christmas. So the £200 is coming from me. Every single penny that is raised by the ticket sales is going to charity, 100% of it. So if you can, buy a couple of tickets. It's your way of donating to charity this Christmas. But speaking of giveaways, yesterday obviously released the latest installment of my campaign against Jamie Carragher. Until he publicly apologizes, I'm just going to keep going. At some point in the future, I'll probably do another one. But I said all you need to do to enter the giveaway to win one of those bad boys was leave a comment on the video. And he left comments on a video. And a winner was chosen at random. And that's Liam Cross. Congratulations to you, Liam. So, Jamie, you should never have been let back on TV after he spat at that little girl. Well, it was a random choice. But congratulations to you, Liam. You have won the United Retro shirt. So you're going to have to slide into my DM. Slide into my DMs? Yeah, slide into my DMs and give me your address and I can get that shirt sent out to you. Teresa, you're saying stop with the hate with Garnacho. We need to nurture our youngsters. I wouldn't say it's hate towards, but it's a wrong way to describe it. It's not hate towards our youngsters. It's about managing expectations. That's what I would say. Managing expectations, because people may expect Garnacho every single game now to be delivering match-winning contributions, a goal or an assist. And if he doesn't do that, always underperforming. That's what you need to temper. Temper your expectations of what you think an 18-year-old should be doing in a Manchester United shirt every single day. Criticism of any player is completely fine. Right? But manage expectations. You can expect Casemiro to be putting in 7, 8, 9s out of 10s every single week because of the maturity of the player that he is, of what he's done in his career. But you can't expect that of someone who's 18 and is 6 games into his Manchester United breakthrough. But Garnacho should have scored yesterday. There's no doubt about that. Great ball from Bruno. And I thought Garnacho was just going to let it roll onto his left foot and then just maybe sweep it across the keeper. It's he just didn't have that finish yesterday. He just didn't have that finish. But as I said, to finish on the show today, I think Ten Hag will be really, really happy with what he saw yesterday. And we didn't get a repeat of the City drop-off between Arsenal and City and between Fulham and Burnley. Obviously, there's 2 different levels of teams and 2 different levels of games, but it really was an impressive overall performance. And because Burnley had the run of the game, certainly after we scored and we were against like Benson, I think it was their right winger, was causing us all sorts of problems. But we held firm. We got the second goal, and when that second goal went in and then Benson went off, it was cruise control from United. And realistically, Garnacho should have scored, and we had another 1 or 2 gilt-edged chances, and we could have probably knocked 4 past Burnley. 2 was enough, though. 2 was enough. Fred, you write down there, it's all about constructive criticism, man. Every player. Anthony, like if you want constructive criticism, I think Anthony yesterday was probably one of the weaker players. When he came on, Ten Hag's going to have to manage Antony and try and bring him out of his shell, because I still think that he's sort of playing inwards, if you know what I mean. He's kind of playing a little bit. He's not skipping past players enough. He did it once yesterday. It was brilliant. But I don't know what game it was for Brazil at the World Cup, but he came on as a sub in around about the 60th minute, and he was causing all sorts of problems on that right wing. Just lovely little deft flicks and touches that knocked it past the player, and then he just kept getting fouled. But Antony has to bring that element to his game in England. He has to be able to skip past a player, which I don't think we've seen enough of so far. Ten Hag's spoken about that. He goes, and because he used to do it all the time at Ajax. He needs to refine that ability and that confidence to knock a ball past a player somehow, dribble past him, knock it through his legs, play a 1-2, however you want to do it, get past a player, because at the moment, 9 out of 10 times, Antony's receiving the ball and he's passing it backwards. And that's not what you need from a player like Antony. Are you saying it was Croatia that he did that? It might, yeah, probably Croatia. But he'll come good. Ten Hag just has to manage him. And given what's happened with Rashford, what's happened with Delo, McTominay, Shaw, I've no doubt that Ten Hag will be able to manage him properly. Dazzy, you're saying, I rewatched second half. Antony was good. He beat his man, created a chance. Yeah, as I said, he did that. He did that once. It was a really, really good chance that he probably should have scored. But Antony, as I said, if you want to throw out, if we're throwing constructive criticism out here, then that's something that I would throw towards Antony, saying like, I know you better than that. Like, you can definitely take your man on more. Don't be afraid. It's high risk, high reward. It's a bit like that pass from Bruno for the goal. It was a high risk, high reward pass. Ball in over the top, over the defense, rewarded with a goal because we pulled it off. Antony, he needs to be able to have the confidence to try and take a man on, and if we lose the ball, then he loses the ball. Boom. Nothing really wrong with losing the ball in attack. And I think, as I said, I think Antony's he'll blossom at United. I think he's only going to get better and better and better. And remember that he scored in his first two appearances, Arsenal? No doubt. I've got no doubt that we're just going to get better as the season goes on. And that's, I think I'm going to do my video on that this morning or this afternoon, lunchtime, whatever you want to call it. That game yesterday fills me with confidence about what's going to happen to this United team post Ronaldo and then hopefully post Glazers. Because, yeah, man, it's looking up. It is looking up. I'm going to answer a couple of questions down here in the comments. Anybody who wants to fire something in, make sure you drop a like on the video, by the way. We've got just over 1,000 of you watching and only 300 of you have dropped a like on the video. So there's 700 of you right now that could go, bam, drop a like on it. It only takes you 1 second. It's free, and it really does help the channel and the community grow bigger and better. Let me see what you're saying down here in the comments. Antony did that quite a lot at Ajax. I remember watching it, and he's got that in his locker. But it's just in the same way that Marcus Rashford looked a little bit of a shadow. I'm not saying that Antony looks a shadow of himself. I wouldn't go that far. But Ten Hag just has to make him understand. Just take your man on. Just have the confidence to do that. Paul, you're saying good team performance and a win and a clean sheet. What's not to be happy about? And Paul, after a first game back after a month off, that's exactly the mindset that we all need. Could have been more? Yeah, it could have been more. But it was also top of the championship Burnley. That could have been a banana skin. And we cruised through it without slipping. Carl's saying, why do you hate on Wan-Bissaka so much? I just don't think he suits the Ten Hag system. I just don't. I know what sort of... He's a naturally incredible defender, yes, but he just looks almost awkward going forward. When he tries to take a man on or do a 1-2, it just doesn't come naturally to him at all. And I just personally think that, I don't know, I just personally think that we'd be better off replacing him with somebody else. Do you think we'll sell any players in January, says Just James? I think if there's going to be anyone, it's going to be Wan-Bissaka going out on loan. Donny van der Beek, I mean, that could happen as well. I don't really know there. Ten Hag should also be playing Pellistri. I think Pellistri is going to be leaving on loan in January. His agent's been pushing for that for a long old time, and I don't really think his opportunities are going to change that much. Wan-Bissaka can get better if he's trained. He's better than Dalot defensively. Yeah, but Dips, there was once upon a time there was a point where Dalot and Wan-Bissaka were at the same point from different ends. Dalot was very good from an attacking point of view, but really crap defensively. Wan-Bissaka was really, really good from a defensive point of view, but crap going forward. If you're looking at the development of those two players since then, Dalot has really rounded his whole game. Defensively on point now, whilst also having the ability to go forward. Wan-Bissaka, on the other hand, he's just as good as a defender as he's always been. But well, I mean, we haven't seen him play that much, so I don't know whether he's improved going forward. But I don't know. We'll find out, I suppose. We'll find out very, very soon. But look, thank you everyone for joining in today. That's United back in action. A cracking game. Tonight, we've got the Christmas call-in show. 8 p.m. Make sure you get it in. I'll schedule it so you know it's coming out. So make sure you check your notifications. I'll have a video going out at lunchtime today, as always, too. It's busy. It's only a few days of Christmas. We've had lots of giveaways. There's more. There's 2 big giveaways that will be happening tonight on the call-in show. So make sure you join in. As I said, the raffle, there's a little QR code down there. £5 to enter, £200 cash to the winner, and all entries are going to charity. Big up to every single one of you. I love this community. I'm looking forward to the chat later. We'll have a few beers and we'll celebrate. Take it easy.